Hey, hi, my name is John. This is a Q&A session for Charting Companion. So let me start sharing my screen and then no, oops, okay. Oh yeah, we're just doing a family group record. Here it made a minor change. Um, well, first, before you launch Charting Companion, it's generally whoever you want to do the chart from. It's generally easier if you just be on that person before you launch it. Here's my grandmother. Uh, you can change it within the program. I just find it easier, if you're in Family Tree Maker, just be on that person and then boom, they are. Otherwise, you can move up, here's your father, you can move up and down, or you can, uh, yeah, you could bring up the index and jump to the person too, Um, but anyway, like for the chart, let's just start with, a standard descendants chart. Let's go over here. You can pick the type of facts you want. For charts, I generally just keep it simple: birth, death, marriage. You can choose how you want the date to be displayed, whether you want the full date or just the year. I kind of like just doing just the year. This date, it takes it from your computer. So here you can see on my computer, it says 7:14 a.m., 7:22. It takes how the computer's date is formatted here. So if you want it in a different format, uh, in the user guide, they tell you how to change. It's called the short date format. Um, so if you would want it, say, instead of like, this is July 4th, if you'd rather have it say for July 1776, you have your computer display it that way, then Charting Companion will pick it up. So you can have it whether you want print the place names and descriptions, include photos. Typically you do all descendants, but if you're doing some DNA stuff and you want to just say, okay, who's all the people that might have the same Y chromosome, it can limit it to the males. Or the mitochondrial DNA. Well, I probably wouldn't do it from Clarence. I'd do it from his wife, Gladys. But and whether or not you'd want spouses or not. And then basically, and you can set the number of generations. I'm going to just limit it. They had like 11 kids, so and I have the spouse down below, and then so whoops, and you can move them if you want. Here's two people with that multiple spouses. Under layout, you can have it, whether you want, maybe if you want the spouse on the same level. So then it's like this. You can also do, if you'd want to do a vertical, like left to right,
Mhm.
you know, like I said, this is only like 2 generations. Well, let me just bump this up one. This is generally a little bit, if you're going to say get it printed out on a wide format, or this is generally a little more, it's whoops, it doesn't take it quite as much space, um, width-wise. Um, but then likewise, you can change the box styles or even have no box. Um,
Yeah.
Color, if you want to do it gender, or if you'd want it, say, by lineage, generation.
Oh, wow.
So you can do that. And if you get really into it, you can even customize the colors. Because I did for a friend of mine, let me just do a Descendants fan chart. Because this, let's see, let me just turn off. Yeah, and that was X chromosome. Let's do it by lineage. You know, so each child has their same level. I did one for a friend of mine where they had a generation, a reunion, and there's 10 kids, 8 of which had descendants. So each of those 8 kids had their own unique color.
Wow.
And every 2-3 years they have a reunion. So everyone, you know, who's the descendant of this one always had a yellow name tag or blue name tag, red name tag, brown. And I was actually able to match those colors on the fan chart I did for them. So, which they really liked. And then likewise with fan charts, that was descendants. No layout, you know, here, if it's a half circle, you could make it a full circle if you want. Let me just zoom out a little bit. You know, or even just a quarter circle if you'd want, you know. You know, so however you'd want to display it, you know. Uh, then ancestor fan chart is very similar. I'm just gonna do this. You know, rather than the kids, then it's, you know, here's Clarence, here's his father, mother, and here's the grandparents, great grandparents. And Sally, I don't know what her surname is.
I have a missing grandfather, so I'd have a lot of blanks, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I never knew who my dad's dad was until I did DNA test, and even then it took 2 years. So here, a
And
full 1/4 of my tree was just missing.
yeah, I've just started down the DNA road, so I was interested to see that you can do the different colors, which means that sort of doing a Leeds method analysis would actually be really easy doing this.
Yeah, if you well, yeah, sort of, yeah. The DNA matrix it's kind of twofold. Well, let me just get out of here beforehand. Um,
Have you done any DNA testing, Catherine?
Yeah, I've tested with Ancestry, MyHeritage, 23andMe, and a company called Living DNA, and I'm about to start uploading to all the others.
no.
Wow.
But I've been very strongly advised to kind of do each of them separately when I'm doing a comparison analysis, to go to Ancestry first, try and work out what I can from that, then go to MyHeritage, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So having this kind of, what I'm hoping for is that Charting Companion will enable me to kind of bring everything together in one place.
Yeah, because we've let me show you a chart because it can actually bring in all those different uh companies. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have no, here this is kind of big,
Oh,
but I'll zoom in. So this uses these with the little light blue. blue marks. These mean, okay, DNA tested. The green just tells which line they're on, but they're all green because these are all Hall descendants. But basically, they just go down. So,
Right.
like, here's my cousin Sarah. This goes down over to here. She shares 18 centimeters. She's the granddaughter of the person right up above, which is Leo Halverson. Which is also kind of neat because if you scroll down, he'll show a 13 centimorgan match to this person. And the first cousin once removed, is actually by marriage, but that scrolls up to here. And because he's actually a match to me, even though Leo is the spouse of this Eileen. She's the primary. Eileen is the first cousin of my mom's.
So it's enabling you to pick up matches that are not actually they're coming from different directions, as it were.
Right. Yeah, because I'm connected through, well, I'm not sure if I'm through his mother's or father's line, but it's through my father's connection is how I'm connected to Leo. So but that's just one of the things that can do it, because to do the DNA matrix, you basically have to have a DNA fact. You know, this is the ancestry test for my mother here. And I have multiple DNA facts because that's how she is on Ancestry. This is how she is on GEDmatch. That's how she is on MyHeritage. That's how she is on Family Tree DNA, FTDNA. And then so I'll have separate match files for her. And I've got a utility. There's several utilities that will allow you to download from Ancestry.
Right.
The one I use right now, I can't ever log out of it because Ancestry has made changes and this program isn't being made anymore. So it's not being updated to accommodate things as
Yeah.
they do it. So but you know, basically, let me pull up my match file here. A match file, I mean, this creates more information than it needs. It needs three things. It needs a way to identify. So here's me. Here's my ID. So I've got this ID for my DNA. Here's the C5 one. This is for my mother.
Yep.
So that's what that number is right there. This is how you can tie the people in your tree to the people in the match file.
Okay,
So
that's
you
interesting.
can use,
With one or two exceptions, every single name I've come across across all of the tests I've done are completely unknown to me.
yeah.
So
Well, and that's where you can use the DNA match manager. Like for me, this first one, this Julie here, is I have no idea who she is. She hasn't, I've tried contacting her a couple times, no comment. I have done the DNA matrix or the DNA simulator, and basically I know based on share matches, this is my unknown grandfather. I mean, I know who he is now, this Obert Fjellstead. I know it's through his connection, and all I know, I've ruled out it's not an unknown grandchild or great grandchild of Obert's, but it has narrowed it down to where I know she's descended from one of Obert's children or Obert's siblings. But I mean, he's got like 9 siblings. So, but that can give me an idea of doing like maybe targeted matching. And, you know, I'm trying to find the people I am in contact with. You know, they've said, okay, how much DNA do you share with us, Julie? And I basically don't have enough data to narrow it down further, but
So presumably you don't know if she's not replying because she hasn't seen it and isn't really interested, or because it's a family problem that she doesn't want to deal with.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you have no idea what's going on in other people's lives. It's like, I mean, I've got a cousin that he did a DNA test. I'm a match with him and stuff, and I just said, well, would you mind sharing your result? Well, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even remember how we got into Ancestry.
Well,
So
I
it's
have,
like,
I have a
okay,
I have a brother, and it's my paternal grandfather I'm talking about. My brother is one of these people that just instinctively recoils from the idea of having his DNA tested. So why DNA testing is not at the moment possible.
yeah.
But I can understand why people are uncomfortable because they don't understand it, and there are so many scare stories out there that they're very nervous. So that's
Well,
perhaps
yeah, and there's things. It's like I know, my uncle, my dad's half brother, took a DNA test for me, basically just so I could help like rule out possibilities, uh, to find out who my grandfather was. Um, well, is maybe a year and a half ago, he got a surprise match, and here it turns out he's got a grandson. He
wow,
never even knew he had a child.
wow, that's pretty big.
So, and but yeah, last time I was out in Oregon, I actually did get to meet uh well, he's what, my half first cousin once removed. I think I would have been a half cousin with his father, so but and I mean, unfortunately he died in an accident like 10 years, 15 years ago or something, so but anyway, so yeah, surprises do come out with DNA.
Oh, sure, for sure.
Uh so um But you also get pleasant things. This Beverly Edmondson. I've communicated with her. This wasn't. Uh, she's descended from the brother of my great grandmother. Um, so it's like here I was able to help fill in that part of the tree and stuff. And I found out because of her, I found out who my great grandmother's parents were. So and they came over from Czechoslovakia. So but
Well, I think some people. I mean, when I see my ancestor charts or fan charts and so on, and I see that chunk that's just blank, it upsets me, and I want to know. I want to fill it in.
yeah,
But other people, when they see that, shrug their shoulders and say, "So what? It's got nothing to do with me."
yeah,
And I guess you just have to respect that difference of opinion and mindset, really.
yeah, and yeah, and for like some of this, and once you get the DNA matrix, kind of get a handle on this, you can do the DNA simulator to help try and find uh unknown matches where they may fit in your tree.
Mhm.
Uh, I did this for my my uncle's wife. I mean, she's my aunt, but there's no such term as like aunt-in-law or something. But
Yeah.
because she didn't know who her father was, and we have since found that out. But there was like a group of 4 women that matched her, and it's like we weren't sure how it was, but after contacting them, I found out these 4 women, well, they were mother-daughter pairs. Uh, and then the 2 mothers were actually half sisters. They shared a common father who, in their words, was lying womanizing alcoholic, But uh, anyway, so I was able to use the DNA simulator to try and see where they can place it in, and it's nothing conclusive yet, but it's down to really about 2 possibilities. It came up with 6 scenarios, and probably like 2 likely ones. I'm just trying to think, where did I store those results rather than, well, actually I can, well, here, let me just do this live. And
What would you say, if asked, what would you say were the main advantages you get from using Charting Companion rather than just sticking with the Family Tree Maker series of reports?
there's more flexibility in the charts. You know, because one thing I absolutely love, and the DNA matrix uses it. It's called the prune feature. And here the perfect example for that is in this one, because I was helping someone. He wanted to join the Mayflower Society and the Sons of the American Revolution.
Yeah, that's a big thing in
And
the
I
US.
mean, and this chart doesn't necessarily help with that, but it's a great visual tool.
Well, if I could just suggest one thing, one of the nitty gritty, it's a down to earth, very simple feature, but it turns out to be very handy, is when you are creating a chart, we allow you to overrule and specify explicitly the width and height of the PDF document.
Right.
Yeah.
So this, we can create a PDF document of any size. We're not limited to, you know, A4, A0 letter. You give completely, it can adapt to the size of your chart. And the advantage is that if you take it to a print shop, it's exactly the right size, and they can shrink it or expand it to fit on their printer. And sometimes, and there's a limitation in PDF. It's you cannot create a document with more than 200 inches. Dimensions. Sorry, let me convert that to metric for you here. 200 divided by 39, roughly 5 meters, 5.1 meters. It's an inherent limitation in the PDF file format. It's not a Charting Companion problem. So when you have a chart that's bigger than that, then you can tile it or break it up into 2 or 3 big pages. So it gives you a lot of flexibility for controlling precisely the dimensions of the chart to suit your purpose. It's one of those little practical details there that, and unlike Family Tree Maker, which saves charts in a raster format, which is subject to pixelation, our PDF files are vectors. That means that every line is defined by the XY coordinate. And the advantage of that is you can scale them. You can increase the size or decrease the size, and they remain crisp and precise. If you scale a raster image like a JPEG, you get pixelation, big squares. With a vector file, it's always sharp, razor sharp and crisp. Little things like that you don't realize until you need to make a chart, you know. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's helpful, Pierre. Thank you.
Yeah, so here's how I like the prune. So here's like the person. I'm going to select this person. I'm going to right click, select this Levi here. Here's the Sons of the American Revolution. And then let's see here. Oh, hang on. I didn't go far enough. I think I've got to go.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me select Claude. There's Levi. Yeah, so here's the Mayflower ones. So I've selected them, and now I can just tell it to prune. And so now here I'm left with a chart, you know, with Claude goes through offer. So here's this, and then how it then goes through, and here are the Mayflower ancestors. And
That's
then as
amazing.
Pierce said,
Okay.
then, here, see, I can make the chart fit the page. So here it's gonna automatically set the width. So here, that's just the one chart. So now I can publish it as a PDF.
Sorry, that noise in the background is my cat.
Oh, that's no problem.
Sorry, it's loud.
So then boom, here's the
Oh, right.
PDF.
I'm immediately thinking that that could be, obviously I'm not concerned with the Mayflower, but
Yeah,
it'd be really useful if you were using it to try and track DNA connections.
yeah.
I can think, just stop. Sorry, he's biting my leg now. Yeah, okay. And I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah, and likewise, when DNA, especially if you ever do get down into if you ever do get into say the mitochondrial or well, here, let me
Presumably also, if you were trying to track relationships that derive from a collateral rather than a direct line, but you didn't want every collateral in existence to appear, you could use it for that too, couldn't you?
yes, yeah.
Because
That's
I
why I
found
like
with family tree
using.
maker, you either got the ancestors, in which case you're not looking at the collaterals, or you've got all of the collaterals, and if you've got hundreds of them, that gets very crowded. Yeah, I can see immediately the usefulness of that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, to me, there's just a lot more flexibility. I like how it does the pictures better. Let me
This is a really stupid question, and I should have checked already. But is there like a guide to getting started and getting you through the first stages of using this? Because like most things, it seems that there is. I can see there's a
yeah, there's an extensive user's guide. Well, you can download it. It's about 600 some odd pages.
okay.
But there's also like an extensive help system too, so if you want to look up like the prune function,
Yeah, because one of the problems with those large user guides is that if you don't know the name of what you're looking for, or you don't know
yeah,
that it exists, you don't know how to look for it.
yeah. But yeah, on Progeny's website, they do have the free users guide, so you can just click on here, click on the user's guide. It basically just asks for your email address, and it's free.
Right.
Click continue, and then you'll get an email and say, okay, here, you can download it. And
Okay,
and that,
that's definitely something to do.
yeah, and that yeah, so yeah, then you get, yeah, here's the manual. I don't know, probably got too many things open right now, so
There you go.
oh, 216 pages, so okay. But yeah, you can go through, and it's covered through all the different types of views, charts, and here, if you want to start doing stuff, match, okay, who might match me on the X chromosome, if you start doing that, and so it covers a lot, that you can go through, and just here, even the different boxes, coloring, gradient, so you can even custom it if you.
Yeah, I get nervous when I see lines of code.
Yeah.
I think I've had my fingers burnt trying to mess around with those before. I think no, that's not a good idea if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And well, worst case, you can always reset the settings if you really screw up something, is that? Oh yeah, restore default
Yeah,
report. So yeah.
that's an important button to know about.
Yeah. So it's but yeah, and I mean it's if you got like if you have a friend with an embroidery machine that can actually increase the embroidery files.
I just assumed that embroider was some kind of technical term, and actually, as you can probably see from the room behind me, I do sew a lot, although I don't embroider. But I have got friends with embroidery machines. I have no idea you could do that.
Yeah, if you, yeah,
Amazing.
it'll create the embroidery files and
Wow.
yeah, well, Pierre, the first time I met him at Roots Tech, he had his family tree embroidered on the back of his jacket.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, imagine a family reunion where everybody's going around with their pedigree.
Oh,
Cool.
what an amazing gift to give somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And yeah, and if you don't, you know, there's find an embroidery shop, you know, so I mean I haven't used that feature, but it's definitely there, and it is a nice little wow factor thing. So
Yeah.
I got the idea at Roots Tech many years ago. I saw a guy going around with a blue denim vest, and on the back he had the names of all his 8 ancestor groups. And I
Wow.
asked him about it. He says, "Yeah, I'm trolling for ancestors."
yeah.
Well,
Hey,
I've heard of putting family trees on gravestones, but I've never heard of putting them on clothing. So I'm
Yeah.
now going to go away and try and think of all the different things I can do with that. That'd be amazing.
Well, for my 2 grandnieces, my niece or 2 daughters, I created a fan chart of her parents and grandparents and great grandparents. And then I found a shop, you know, then it prints it out on fabric. So
Yeah.
eventually my niece is going to get them like embroidered into like a quilt or a pillow or something for each of the girls. So
Yeah, lovely, really lovely, and
so
completely unique.
yeah, yeah, there's lots of things, you know, once you got the image, yeah, because I just did like an ancestors fan chart, full circle. Uh,
Okay, the next sort of I had in my mind 2 or 3 kind of basic questions I wanted to ask if possible, and the next
mhm.
sort of type of questions are about one of the things I was thinking about doing was creating kind of printed books, and I'm wondering how that fits in with Charting Companion. Whether if I'm going to publish something on maybe Kindle or something like that, how does that work?
Well, it can do a descendants book, it can do the outline, and it can do, yeah, the ancestor book. Tell whether photos and stuff. No, let's just go into expert. Yeah. Yeah, here you can pick the facts you want, whether, you know, print sources, footnotes, endnotes. Cousin Smart, this is if you as you research, if you go back far enough, you know, you're gonna find where one cousin married another cousin or something, you know. So, and I know I've got, you know, where I've got a set of 9th grandparents that are also my 10th great grandparents, and you know, and what this will do is it will flag, and you know, basically it won't keep printing out the same duplicate information. It'll just say, okay, these are the same people, you know. But then, well, yeah, let me just narrow this down to like 2 generations. Um, so yeah, I'll do, yeah, test book. So here it basically just gives a thing like this. Here this opens up in Word. It's an RTF file. Uh, gives the basic information, again, the date it takes from your computer. But then this is all fully editable, you know, so if something isn't quite the way you want it.
That was my next very question. One of the
Yeah.
one of the frustrations I found with the Family Tree Maker itself is that you can't edit the the kind of the words. And what I've been doing is exporting to a PDF and then taking the
Yeah.
PDF expert, transmuting it to Word, editing it, and then bringing it back, which is a hell of a way round.
Yeah.
If you can
Yeah.
edit,
Yeah. There's, with books, there's also another plugin, Family Book Creator.
right? Yeah, I've heard of that.
That gives you even more options with creating the books. But this is fully editable and stuff like that. So but yeah, this is my immediate.
A lot
So
of
there's
information.
lots
Yeah,
of sources. There's lots of sources, but
yeah.
so but that can, and the beauty thing is they do offer, what is it, a 15-day free trial, so you can download it and play with it before spending a dime, and then if you,
I could already see that it would be useful. So I've already got a copy. I just haven't started using it yet.
yeah, so
Yeah.
and then the same thing with the Descendants book is basically the same thing. One thing I really like for the reports over Family Tree Mark is the outline Descendants,
Mhm.
because this is so much more clearly defined, because they have these lines here.
Right. Yeah. So you can see the different generations at a glance.
Yeah, so I really like this. So it's like if I do an outline Descendants report, I'll do it from Charting Companion.
Is this also capable of being edited?
Yes. Well, this is a
No,
PDF.
not the-
Well, this is a PDF. I'm trying to think. Uh, well, yeah, it just does it as a PDF. So you'd have to use the normal stuff
Translate
if you'd
use
want
something
to
to
edit
translate,
it.
yeah, okay.
I mean, even Word can open it up, but and do it.
Well, I'm using a Mac, so I convert it to a. I'm using a product called PDF Expert that seems quite good at
Okay.
converting it into Word, letting you edit, and then you can convert it back to a PDF.
Yeah.
It's just I've found it's not so much the actual text I want to fiddle with. It's actually the layouts of it. I'm a lawyer by training, and I'm used to producing lengthy reports, but in a way that's actually quite easy on the eye. And
Mm-hmm.
that, for example, is actually, you look at that and you go, whoa, what is all that? And even just putting in line breaks occasionally and a bit more space, I know it makes it longer, but it makes it easier to read.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with Family Tree Maker, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, they use frames, and it's like that started with well, when Makiev took it over, because 2014 they didn't use frames. 2014.1, then likewise 2017-19 they started using frames, and for the life of me I have no idea why. Because it's like I even asked them, it's like, what problem did that solve?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it's frustrating because it just means I have to convert, reconvert,
yeah, yeah.
and it's an obvious thing to do.
Yeah,
But
it's like, and I know some people that from Pound to me, they'll export it in like a CSV file format and then manipulate it that way. But
yeah,
but so the other thing I really like is if you do like the family group sheets, um, in Family Tree Maker, you got to do it one at a time.
yeah.
Well, here I can do it. Okay, I want to do it for like 5 generations, and I want to do it, say, for all the ancestors. And then, so then here's 20 pages, and so there's let me just get so you can actually see it. Plus with, their 11 children.
Oh, right. So it's doing every generation as.
But now, so now here's his father, DeWitt and Clarence, and so where Clarence is the child, and yeah, so it'll go through and in bulk do it. You can do it for all the ancestors or all the descendants. So you can bulk create family group sheets.
That saves a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, and this is great for bringing out to reunion, because then you can do, oh, okay, I don't know here, when Mercy died, or even exactly when she was born. I just got like an about, so that's probably from a census, uh, so you could write it in or say, oh, I know she was born in Buffalo, New York, or wherever, Probably wasn't Buffalo, it was probably Windsor,
I've literally just finished, or I'm just finishing it's not really a report. I'm doing for a friend an analysis of her family in the UK, and this is going to be perfect. This is what I'm going to be doing this afternoon.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you want something a little bit more than like the standard birth, this is christening or baptism. If here I don't have either, but if you do have one of the facts, then it will actually say baptism, so it'll pick up either one.
Right.
And here and this one, Charles, it even said, okay, they're married, but they're also divorced. So,
And you can presumably pick what facts you want to
highlight. Yeah, the family group sheet you can't, but the standard family group you can. Here you can just pick whichever facts you want,
Catherine, the classic family group record, it's very rigid, predetermined format, and there's only room for the 5 basic events, birth.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's rigid. But as John is showing, we have another one called the standard, which is more versatile, more flexible, and more freeform.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
And so then that one, and here you can just pick whichever one. Like I said, you got room, you can put in the photos, and
that's really nice, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, and again, that's standard family. That's the same thing. You can tell it how many generations do you want to do, so it's you use it just the same. The only thing is yeah, it's a little more freeform. You can pick just the facts you do want. So
very nice.
So, but
yeah, if I had one criticism of Family Tree Maker, it would be the lack of flexibility in outputting information.
Yeah.
And that's why I say to people, look, just go for this, because it means that you've brought in that flexibility which you didn't previously have.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a trellis chart is, to be honest.
The trellis.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is one where you can actually print everyone in your tree, and it shows how you're connected. This can take a little while to generate. I only picked 3 generations, so hopefully it won't take too long. But it's basically a grid chart.
It's the tree with everyone on it.
Wow.
The tree with everyone on it. It allows you to display everybody in your family tree.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's done in like a grid format, and then yeah, maybe I should cut down to 2 generations.
It has to go through the whole tree anyway, so.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and this is my main tree. There's like almost 27,000 people in this tree. So
right.
I've got a lot of extended branches. So I'm building out the trees for like my nieces and nephews, spouses and their families, and then due to DNA, well, like I said, well,
Yeah.
my aunt and uncle took it. Well, then their spouses wanted to take it. And then my aunt's husband and his sister took it, so I built out their line, and
Yeah, I can imagine how that would quickly, well, it's compound
so
numbers, isn't it? All of a sudden you've doubled and then you've quadrupled, and yeah,
yeah, and I find it's just for me it's easier keeping it in one tree than breaking it out. Just for me, that's just the way it is, because it's like the thought of having to update the same information on the same person in multiple trees, just no.
yeah, no, I've gone the same road, and you know, I haven't got all of the collaterals that you've got, obviously, but I do go back to the 17th century, so there's
Yeah.
quite a lot of information there.
Yeah, I've done a tree for my girlfriend, and I could actually merge hers in with mine because I'm related to her son-in-law. We're like a fourth cousin once removed or something like that, you know, but so far I've kept that separate, but there's only like two people that are the same in our trees, and that's the connecting. And that was kind of a fluke how I found I just have to be working on them in my main tree, and then when I was working on that, I was like, I remember these people.
Well,
And then plus it was my last name too, so it's like,
proof of the adage that we're all related somehow.
yeah. Well, I saw a thing several months ago. It said, you know, mankind's only been here for so long that we're all at least 33rd cousins or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know. And if you look back, you know, it's like, okay, you know, it's like if, you know, everyone's got two parents, four grandparents, 18, you
Yeah.
know, if you keep going back, you know,
There's
30, 35 generations. Well, there weren't even that many people on Earth then, you know.
there's a
So
thing in British genealogy groups where visiting Americans get very excited if they or that someone's told them that they're descended from. I think the popular ones are Robert the Bruce and Edward the First or something.
mhm.
But then you point out that there are several million people who can claim that.
Yeah,
Just
Actually, what's extraordinary is if you are not descended from.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what's unusual.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
yeah, I think I'd read something like if you've got European ancestry, I think like 25% are descended from Charlemagne or
yes.
something like that, you know. And
Well,
I think I'm descended from Edward the First because Joan Plantagenet or Joan of Acre, she's like my 23rd great grandmother or something.
yeah. I am confident that I am descended from an extremely long line of agricultural labourers.
Mhm.
And they were all called John, William, and Henry, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's nearly there.
Yeah.
Catherine, with respect to contacting people that don't reply to you, have you considered offering to help them build their family tree? So a lot of times these people are amateurs, they're not interested in genealogy. So if you offer to help them research their family tree, they get something out of it. It's something you'd have to do anyway.
That's something that I've certainly considered. I'm very much at the beginning stages, Pierre, and I've identified a few people. I mean, I've identified a lady who's, I think, my half second cousin, and I've messaged her a couple of times, but each time, and we share. She will recognise you've seen my surname; it's quite an unusual one. But I suspect that our relationship is a bit too close to home for her. But I've also noticed, and you're absolutely right, that she doesn't have, at least publicly, much of a tree. So that might be one way of
Yeah.
of asking her, offering help, exactly.
Because you're gonna do it anyway. Here we go. There's the trellis.
Yeah, here it is. So here's Clarence, and then if you go
So you
over
might-
here,
John, you might explain the each vertical column is people of the same generation. Okay.
Yeah.
Over on the right, the narrow columns are family groups. F means father, M means mother.
Yeah.
And on the left is other family groups. So on the right is the family groups where these people are parents. On the left is family groups where these people are children.
yeah.
S means son, D means daughter. That's how you, and you can work your way up.
So like this Clarence, it goes over, here's the son. So up here, so here's his father, here's his
Oh,
mother,
I see. Yeah, I've got you. I can see why it takes a while for it to calculate all of this.
Yeah, and then the father and mother is also of, Dina here, these people, so yeah,
Wow.
so son, daughter, father, mother, and so, and then when you print, don't you have the option, I think, of
You can rotate it.
yeah, kind of rotating it kind of makes it makes better use of like the wide format printers.
Yeah.
Because here you can resize it. Yeah, so this will be a little too big for a PDF because that's over the 200-inch limit, but
Well, there are plenty of commercial printers around.
Yeah.
And interesting, their sewing background helps because we're used to printing out very large patterns.
Yeah.
So not difficult to find at all.
So, but yeah, this is what. Oh yeah, and here's
Right. Okay.
Some. Yeah, so that's probably some for where. Yeah.
Well.
Interconnected because that we've got some.
Yeah. That are on too many more than one different relationship.
Yeah, we're connected in multiple ways and stuff like that. So, but this is what the trellis chart is. So.
Okay, well that's really helpful too because I've not even heard of that. So
yeah,
thank you for that. I mean, it's I'm looking at it. I am an expert on going down rabbit holes, and I think there's an enormous rabbit hole just opened up in front of me.
Yeah,
The advantage of the trellis is that everybody's there, even spouses of spouses.
Yes,
which you would normally see on a box chart, classic box chart.
And this is the only program I've ever seen that's even done anything like this. So.
Okay, I hate to ask, what is a dandelion chart?
Dandelion, that is, I'll just kind of, because this will also show the parents and spouses.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But
you can increase the size of the chart and it'll be more spaced out.
Yeah, let's go to layout and let's just say make it 12 by 12 or something. Yeah.
This reminds me of, I don't know if you're familiar with a product called Scrapple. It's done by the people who make Scrivener. And it's kind of like a mind mapping, as the name suggests, it's when you do doodles and you do your own family charts sections, it kind of does that for you. But actually, with that, you have to enter the information in manually.
Yeah. And this just takes it all from your tree. So.
Yeah. Well, that's I already know what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. I know what I'm going to be doing this evening as well now.
So here's Gladys, Clarence and Gladys, and then this hub here, they go to all their children.
Right.
And then here's Clarence's parents, here's Gladys's parents.
So what's the significance of the different colored circles, like green and yellow?
None. They're supposed to be black. the circles represent family groups. The red
Alright.
line, the red lines are parents, and the black lines are children.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, got you.
The different colors in the circle are just random, I guess. By
Yeah.
gener-
So DeWitt, so DeWitt, that's his wife Janet. And then these are Janet's parents, you know, so you can get the spouses of the parents of the spouses too. And
Right.
so and that's another unique chart, you know, to Charting Companion. So kinship, that's just kind of like the kinship report in Family Tree Maker. Shows how everyone's related.
Yeah.
Pedigree charts, I actually kind of prefer these over Family Tree Maker. You know, this is standard pedigree chart, you know, but oh yeah, I've been playing around with this. This is one of those where I should reset the color.
It's not letting you reset, is it?
Yeah, it also lets you do a pedigree index. So, and what did I? Oh no, that is right. Oh yeah, chart. Oh yeah, Clarence, I shouldn't have done it from. So, yeah. Here, let me. Clarence. Oh, duh. Gladys. Yeah, let me do a pedigree from her. This is the one that goes back to the colonial days and stuff. So, print pedigree index. Don't do the generational. I don't need to print the left margin. 5. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I should reset. Hang on here. Let me just do this. Let me go to here. Left shift. Cause I do a lot of experimenting, so I think, yeah, here. There, I just reset all the defaults. If you hold down the control key and
I have a Mac, so there's probably a different way of doing it, is there?
yeah. I don't know. Can you still hold down the left shift on the Mac or
Right. Yeah.
here?
You should, yeah. For what now? For resetting? Oh, it's control. It's the control key.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it is the shift key. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant something else. It is a shift key. Yeah. Yeah.
Pedigree chart. Yeah. So. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, because you can do that, and then like I said, pedigree. You can have it do the index if you want it. You can have it even print the associate family group records if you want. Font, title, color.
Yeah.
So, because Family Tree Maker's got a weird thing of like chopping off some stuff on this column.
Yeah, you have to play around with moving the boxes and so on, and it's
Yeah, sometimes it works, and then
Yeah.
plus it's really easy to create an index, and if you print it, you know.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
In Family Tree Maker, you have to use the book function in order to do any name index. So it's, you know, so in here it's just kind of all automatic. So
So it's basically you go to pedigree chart and then you tick the box for the index.
yeah,
Yeah, got you.
yeah. So yeah, I'll do the pedigree charts and the outline descendant reports over Family Tree Maker any day. So it's yeah, because yeah, you can pick whatever facts you want, you know. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
Well, guys, that's been really helpful. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I
it's very versatile program, and like I said, and Pure is always working on it, and so
well, what it's given me is an overview and an idea of the various options that I didn't even knew existed.
yeah,
So thank you for that. And obviously, I now need to spend some time fiddling around with it and playing and working out what works for the information I have in my tree.
yeah, no problem. So
My head is kind of exploding at the moment with the possibilities. So
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you just have to play with it, and like I said, there's some stuff, you know, it's you know, I recently started doing like bow tie charts, and you know, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. You know, they each have their own little unique things. Likewise, you can play with the colors and everything else. So, and you can even, you know, and you can like move stuff around if you want.
That's helpful. Yeah.
And then you can actually save the chart and then load the chart if you want to come back. So let's just say you have to run off somewhere. You can save this chart and then come back later, load it, and then pick up. Then it's like, okay, I want to continue playing around with these, you know. And then the absolute best thing is like once you're done is just click on here and it will reset the page size to fit the whole thing, and then before publishing it. And so I'll fit on one page, and then whether you print it out yourself or take it to a print shop to print out in wide format. This one probably won't need to be wide format.
Well, for running these submissions for the course I'm doing, I have spent hours playing around trying to get these reports fitting on a page.
Yeah.
I can now see how easy it will be to just do it in here and
yeah, and you also have the option if you set the page size. I mean, you can also just tell it like to decrease. So like if you set the page size, you know, to whatever A3, A4, and if it's a little bit bigger, well, then you could click this option where it'll decrease the chart, you know, so it'll fit on the page size, you know.
Yeah.
Because when you page size, let's just say, well, let me just use a standard.
See, you can just put it on A4, for example, which is what we're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it will just do it automatically.
So if you do A4, okay, that's going to be over. But now you can tell it, okay, let me just decrease the chart. And
perfect.
of course, I'd probably tell it, you know, to rotate it or something, you know, but
rotate the landscape. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how many hours of work you've just saved me? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell it, yeah, go landscape. And then, you know, so it fits it. So there, let's see, A4. Yeah. Yeah. Landscape. And then, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant.
yeah, so you can either fit fit the paper size to do it, or you can shrink or enlarge the chart to fit the page size. So whichever, you prefer. So
Oh, that's fantastic. I've already mentioned this as a plugin for some of my colleagues on the course, and I'm
yeah.
now going to message them and say, you guys, you have to get this. It's just going to save hours.
And the nice thing is that this doesn't work just with Family Tree Maker.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it actually works as a standalone program. So it's like let me just go to my desktop here, because here I've got like Roots Magic.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have to use Family Tree Maker for the course anyway. But
Oh,
one
okay.
of the people said, "Oh, but I'm using such and such." I didn't remember which ones they've.
Yeah, because Chart
used
and
it for
Companion
notes.
will run as a standalone, and so here it's oh yeah, I had it. I forgot I had it reset the settings, so it's.
Yeah.
But I can directly load up my Roots Magic tree. There's others, what probably Legacy. It can read a GEDCOM of your tree. I mean, I recommend this program for people that just use Ancestry. It's like, well, you can download a GEDCOM of your tree from Ancestry, and then load it up in here.
Wow.
So that's would be. But yeah, here's my Roots Magic. So it's like I can just bring up my Roots Magic tree, and so and then do all the same things. Roots Magic has, you can use the Family Tree Maker color coding. Roots Magic has it, so it can do it. If you do a GEDCOM, you won't have this option. I think you only got the option with Family Tree Maker Roots Magic, but
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and I know Roots Chart and Companion 8 is a lot faster than 7 was, because it will like cache the thing. I know when I was first doing the DNA simulator under 7, I mean, I was loading too much match data for it. We're running it from Family Tree Maker. I mean, it just wouldn't do it. It just took too many resources. So I exported to GEDCOM, loaded up the GEDCOM, and then I was able to run the DNA simulator.
Right.
Because here I was comparing match file from 5 people, a mother and 4 kids, to how they match me, my siblings, my aunt and uncle, couple first cousins on my dad's side, and then plus a father and 2 kids that I knew how they fit in my tree, but we all matched each other. And so I was able to do that to start running simulations to see where they might fit in the tree. And that came up down to, I don't know, 8 scenarios. And I picked the likeliest one. And I just recently found out that was not the right one, because I found out who this Theodore Fassbender's parents were, and they're not in my tree. So I have to go back to that simulation. I'll probably have to rerun the simulation. But with 8, I know I can do that simulation directly, because it's 64-bit now, and it can. So.
Well, it's 8 I've got, so hopefully there won't be any issues.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Thank you, both of you, very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I think this has been really helpful, and means that I will be occupied for the next God knows how many hours playing. Yeah. But that's always the
especially the DNA, and then and I do have videos on just using the DNA matrix. You have to get that one done first to create in the match file. Fortunately, like MyHeritage, you can download it directly.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, basically just about every site, you know, well, living D, I've tested there, and honestly, I haven't checked back there because it's like there's really no way of downloading the match data, or not easily. And they don't have that many people, so it's like I don't have any new matches or no new close matches there anyway. So, of course, I haven't checked in 6 months either. So.
Well, it's a very small database, so
Yeah. But you know, you got create it, and basically you just gotta use that DNA kit or DNA marker SPAC to tie people in your tree to people in the match file. I mean, that's the whole thing. And so,
well, I have a lot of work to do, but I think it will be all very productive. And now I know that I can export it in a way that will make sense to people who don't spend their waking hours looking at genealogy reports. So thank you very much. Thank you, by the way, for all the work you do on the Facebook group as well, because I find that really, really helpful.
No problem. So I like to help, and so.
Well, I guess I sometimes think you never get the real impression of Family Tree Maker and the help that you provide by the comments, because they're from people who've got problems. Because people don't.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with any user group. You know, it's like if you go into, you know, I mean, I prefer Family Tree Maker over Roots Magic, even though I do have that. But it's like, you know, I've been in the Roots Magic group, and that's the same thing. It's like, well, this is doing this is doing that. You know, if you can't go by a support group, and you know, because if everyone just posted, hey, this program did exactly what I wanted to, well, the things would be flooded with it. And
yeah,
kind of like on the news, why is there more bad news than good news? You know, it's like, if there's nothing but, you know, it could be running 24/7 about every good thing that happened in the world, you know. And oh, and by the way, this thing happened, this person got killed, or, you know, whatever, you know. It's,
well, I sometimes think with these groups, I think users should sometimes just come on and say thank you for all that you do, because it's really, and even if it's not something I've posted or commented on, I'm reading it and I'm learning from it, because you know, problems happen with everybody, and you can learn an awful lot from reading what somebody else has found. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and it's like, and I learned stuff too just by people asking. I mean, I've had people ask questions like, you know, I've never considered that, you know, or doing it. And since then, I've started learning new things, or it's like, you know, so it's kind of a win-win for me. So it's.
I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
No, thank you. So.
Yeah, thank you very much as well for this, because I'm finding it really helpful.
Great.
No.
That's our mission, is to help you tell the story of your family.
Well, I'm at the beginning of that journey, but I will be able to do it better now that I've figured out how to use this properly.
No.
So thank you. So I'm about to leave, but thank you very, very much indeed for all your help.
No problem.
And it's nice to meet you, in inverted commas. There must be a word for meeting online.
No.
Anyway, so thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Take care.